What screams trashy parents? When their kids could literally set the world on fire and they'll blame anyone else to avoid responsibility. Changing your kid's diaper in a Walmart parking lot and throwing the diaper full of shit on the ground for someone else to deal with. Social media influencers whose entire content is their children. People who publicly punish their kids online. Parents who give out way too many details about their children, giving them lack of privacy. Child exploitation at its finest. Young children whose teeth are already black and rotting from lack of care. Children in dirty /smelly clothes, not from a child playing outside as kids do, but legitimately filthy, unwashed clothes. Kids running wild in public with no attempts to rein them in. Kids destroying other people's stuff / property and the parents are just standing there and laughing like it's a form of amusement. Once went into an older movie store and there was a child bashing the glass with his ball and throwing the movies all over the floors. The mother, presumably, let her child continue to do that despite others' protests including the managers. I don't fault the child, doesn't know any better. The mother should have been asked to leave the store with her son. My family lineage includes a long line of molestation and abuse. To me, it doesn't get any more trash than this. She passes out drunk on the front porch, doesn't realize her son's father has come from another state to rescue him, and wakes up not knowing where one of her kids is. I lost count of how many parent conferences I had that went like this. Me, your child's grades and behavior are horrible. Them, I don't know what to do. I've tried everything. Me, like what? Them, I took their PS5 away, and their Xbox 360, but then they went crazy, so I gave it back to them. Me, so you tried like nothing. When I waited tables in college, I saw a mother fill her young toddler's bottle with Coca-Cola. I thought it was just horrible. There is a kid, maybe 8 to 10 years old, on the other side of my street right now yelling slurs and telling everyone who walks by to go fuck themselves while their parent sits on the porch smoking weed and laughing. This is a regular occurrence. I'm fairly certain the kid has a mental disorder, but the fact that the parent seems to be encouraging the behavior is pretty trashy. Mom wearing Cookie Monster pajama pants walking out of a Shell station at 9:30 at night with 2 kids while throwing her black and mild cigar wrapper on the ground. The son has a chapped upper lip, you could light a match off of it, and the daughter looks like she spent her last evening trying to cut her own hair. Parents that let their kids kick the ever-living shit out of the seat in front, pretend not to see anything, and then get angry at you for asking them to stop their kid. Garbage. Everywhere. In their yard, in their house. Just junk and crap with no purpose or reason. I watched out my window as their kids treat their things exactly the same way. Bikes left in the street and toys left out to rot on the sidewalk. For example, the kids figured out how to get one of the 8 lawn mowers moving, and the first thing they did was pull a sled behind it as fast as it would go. It was June in Wisconsin and they still had sleds laying around. It's never dull on my street, but sometime I think that would be nice. One of those bumper stickers that says something along the lines of "my kid's in here. If you hit me, I'll beat your ass." Extra points if they're ones driving like an asshat. Cussing out the officials at a little league game. Telling your child to punch another player they tripped over. When the kids are sick and contagious, but the parents want a night out, and don't tell their child care provider their kids are sick. Kids that smell like smoke because their parents smoke indoors. It was my parents. Everybody hated when we came over because everything we'd touch would smell like cigarettes as well. Couldn't convince my parents to smoke outside of the home because it's their house and they'll do as they please. You ever see those kids who run amok in the stores, knocking things over, running into people, and screaming out loud? Sitting at a restaurant and seeing a little kid running around disturbing people. And their parents are across the restaurant. Not so long ago, while I was waiting at a red light, I saw a woman practically drag her 2 young daughters, holding both their hands in one hand because she was using the other to puff at them with a cigarette. She was also yelling at the 2 girls at a volume that made me shudder, because apparently they couldn't come quick enough with those shorter legs children happen to have. Everything about that woman screamed trashy parent. Parents that seem disinterested in their kids. They don't even necessarily have to be neglected, though they usually are. I just find it strange when I see kids very obviously trying to reach out to their parents or creating a bit of a scene in public and the parents are just like, yeah, whatever, and go back on their phones. Naming their kids wacky names. I remember seeing quite a few of those at work. The weirdest one was Question. This is strange on two levels. First, why name your child Question, and second, coming up with that spelling. They must have thought they were so fucking clever. Damn. Allowing your children to become obese, it's child abuse, simple as that. No reason a 12-year-old should be 180 lbs. When I see a 5-year-old in nothing but a diaper, and a pacifier to shut them up. I'm not saying those are always indications of it. But when I show up to babysitting job, and there's a clearly too old for a diaper kiddo greeting me, I'm probably going to meet some trashy parents. Friend's wife trying to have sex with me while her husband's at the store and their 5-year-old is 6 feet away. I don't think ever noped out of a situation faster in my life. Watching YouTube videos on their phone at full volume without headphones while in a public place. There's a car in my neighborhood that has a sticker that says "Got some kids up in this bitch." In hot pink. Coming from retail, barefoot children. Even the most questionable moms would put socks on their kids' feet, but the ones that would argue with staff or get physical over perceived offenses would have a kiddo with bare feet. Having so many that you can't properly care for them all, or having the older kids care for the younger ones most of the time. Whenever I see a little kid with a soggy-ass diaper or crusted snot on their face, I get kids are going to be dirty, but both of these things, when someone is actually paying attention, are not that serious to keep up on. Kids walking barefoot in public places like grocery stores, airports, hospital waiting rooms, etc. Edit, changed phrasing. Infant child that never has any clothes and is constantly dirty with snot running down their nose. Threats, intimidation, fear, and guilt are your primary parenting tools for getting the kids to do what you want. Sticking the kids in front of a tablet wherever they go rather than taking the time and effort to socialize them. I once saw a man try to pick a fight with a middle-aged woman, while holding his infant child. If you're going to comment on this, you should state how many kids you have. Because your expectations pre-kids are a whole hell of a lot different than they are post-kids. I'm gonna piss some people off with this one, but here it goes. People who post tons of pictures of their young kids on social media. The kids are obviously too young to be able to give any kind of consent to have their images circulated, so it's really just about the parents wanting attention, or in some cases ad revenue, and using their kids as a tool to get it. Wait until your kids are old enough to make their own choices and give them a blank slate on which to create their own digital identity.